With the Jumper EZBook 2, we tested our very first ultrabook from China, the Jumper EZBook 2 packs mid-range tablet specs, and in exchange is sold at a very low price tag of around $170, which makes it the cheapest ultrabook around at this time. So the Jumper EZBook 2 comes in something that looks like the typical packaging we know from other laptops, made from cardboard of course. A carrying handle is missing here however. Inside we find a 3A power supply as well as a quick start guide. On the top of the ultrabook there is a protective film, but this one obviously has been applied with the wrong glue. It is incredibly hard to rip it off, and even after we finally managed to remove it, there still was a lot of residual glue left. Luckily the lid top is made from aluminum, so you can apply some force to it without damaging anything. The remaining parts of the body do look a lot like a MacBook Air, but are made from plastic instead of metal. The build quality is surprisingly good, taking the price tag into account. It's not perfect though, the port openings do look a bit cheap and the body makes squeaking noises on some areas. Anyway, the body appears to be solid enough to survive everyday use. We took the Jumper EZBook 2 with us on a couple of long distance train rides where it was transported in a backpack without any protection. So far this did not result in any damage except a few scratch marks caused by the metal tables inside German ICE trains. The ports the EZBook 2 offers include two full-sized USB ports, of which one does support USB 3.0, one mini HDMI port with 4K support, a headphone jack and a microSD card reader. The weight of the EZBook 2 is 1.44 kilograms. The ultrabook comes with a chiclet keyboard that also does look very similar to the ones found on Apple MacBooks. There are a few differences though, the most significant being full-sized arrow keys, which is neat. There also are status LEDs for caps lock and all that stuff. The key travel at first feels a bit awkward since you have to hit the keys quite hard in order to avoid skipping letters. Anyway, you get used to that quite fast, and as soon as you did, the keyboard actually works surprisingly fine. The keys never get stuck and they also do not sound too cheap. The tactile feedback is okay. Again, considering the price tag, we are not disappointed at all. Something that did disappoint us a lot though is the trackpad. The initial impression is fairly positive since the trackpad is huge and feels nice. It also supports multi-touch and Windows 10 gestures. Anyway, when actually using it for productive use, it quickly came out to be almost useless. Moving the cursor, it often starts to produce random clicks. The accuracy randomly switches between perfect and unusable. Two finger scrolling mostly results in pinch to zoom gestures. When typing, the touchpad does not get disabled automatically, and the touchpad settings of Windows can be adjusted but do not result in any reaction of the touchpad. Yes, this thing is just pure crap. Something very surprising was the performance of the Jumper EZBook 2. Now, we've had a couple of Intel Atom X5 Z8300 based tablets already, but the Jumper EZBook 2 definitely feels like the smoothest device with this chip. That is a bit surprising since the specs are not much different, with 4GB of LPDDR3 RAM and 64GB of eMMC memory. The difference probably is caused by the screen, which operates at full HD resolution, while most tablets actually use 2K screens. Talking about screen, let's have a closer look at it right away. So we've got a 14-inch panel here that got an anti-glare coating, which makes it nicely readable outdoors despite the brightness not being too impressive. The screen creates sharp images and pixels are invisible within a normal distance to the screen. Anyway, colors are where the screen sucks. The screen looks a bit washed out and color reproduction isn't quite accurate. So this screen really isn't anything good for watching pictures, videos or working with Photoshop. But for office work and surfing the internet it's perfectly fine. The viewing angles are also not too good since Jumper uses a TN panel instead of an IPS one. Heat is where we got mixed feelings. During normal work, the Jumper EZBook 2 does only get slightly warm, with the chipset moving in between 50 to 60 degrees Celsius. Even when playing games, the chipset doesn't get too hot. Anyway, when charging the battery while using the ultrabook, it gets way too hot. Sometimes so hot that you cannot touch the area where the mainboard is situated anymore. You really should avoid placing the EZBook 2 on your bed or something while charging. The operating system running on the Jumper EZBook 2 is a fully licensed copy of Windows 10 Home in the 64-bit variant. The system is clean, which means there is no pre-installed software or viruses of any kind. Out of the box there are around 50 GB of free memory. If you need more, you can use a microSD card for expansion. Using external hard drives is only possible with a dedicated power supply, since the USB ports do not deliver enough current. Reception quality of the EZBook 2 is surprisingly awesome. Through Wi-Fi, the EZBook 2 even managed to outperform a MacBook Pro when streaming videos in locations with bad signal. Bluetooth did work very well also. The only disappointing part is that once again, like on Chinese tablets, 5 GHz networks are not supported. For audio quality, the Jumper EZBook 2 won't be able to win any medal. The internal speakers sound pretty awful, but that isn't actually caused by the speakers themselves, but simply because of the fact that there is no room for the sound waves to spread. Furthermore, the headphone output is not loud enough. Anyway, that can be fixed with a tool called Equalizer APO. After boosting the output with it, you get a very decent quality with zero interferences. The integrated webcam is enough for video chats, but you shouldn't expect HD quality. The microphone is surprisingly good. Cortana works like a charm with it. The battery is advertised to offer a 10,000 mAh capacity, but in reality is even bigger with 10,800 mAh. During everyday use, we managed to squeeze out between 7 to 9 hours of continuous operation time during office work, depending on screen brightness and Wi-Fi status. Movies can be played for 5 to 6 hours, depending on if you stream or play a local file. Charging the battery unfortunately takes very long, with 5 hours despite the 3A power supply. So here's what we think. Whoever looks for a decent notebook for internet surfing and office work, which is priced at sub $200 and is willing to live with a bad touchpad, can stop searching right here and now. At a price tag of $170, the Jumper EZBook 2 is one huge bargain, which impressed us with a decent performance, usable keyboard, long battery life, and a screen that is usable outdoors. In addition, the Jumper EZBook 2 does look pretty nice. You shouldn't expect a real MacBook Air alternative though, but that should be obvious. So that's all from our side. If there are any questions left, please drop a comment. The shop link and more information can be found in the video description. If you like what we are doing at ChinaMobileMag, please pass a visit at ChinaMobileMag.de or at our English site ChinaDevices.net and follow us here on YouTube. So thanks for watching, bye bye, over and out.